Put strike out, hit it, pop up. Don't even figure it out.
Of course he did.
I really want to watch this game, but team sports.
You know, it's all about itself.
Us. Who you got?
This game? Dale.
Give me Calera.
What's the score? What are the score predictions? What do you got? What do you think the score's gonna be?
10-2, 10-3.
Alright. I'm gonna go downstairs.
Dale is really, really good.
Yeah.
And they just don't make a lot of mistakes. Now, they did lose to Okarchi, and then like Edmond Santa Fe, and then some team out of state. So they can be beaten. But when they're on, they're on.
Yeah. That is not good. That's slow. That's like the Beatles way. No. He's nice. No. That was fast, but it was like getting tapped over his head. He was trying to throw over there. Alright, I'll look at the gun. Now come back up here and do what he says.
$86.
No shot.
Yeah.
Okay. But it doesn't look fast. Maybe it's because we're literally down there over there.
All right, folks, we are scheduled now for Calera Bulldogs versus the Dale Pirates. A recap of games earlier today. The Okarchi pod, which was supposed to have been Amber Pocasset. Okarchi defeats Christian Heritage 8-1. Ripley 2-1 over Sterling in 8 innings. In the fourth inning right now, Christian Heritage is leading Ripley 2-1. That game is in the bottom of the fourth inning. So we will keep you updated throughout this game. On the Dibble side, which originally was scheduled for Dibble High School, now here at Cashin. Cashin starts the day instead of playing yesterday, or tomorrow, 5-3 victors over Colgate. Calera run rules Colgate 11-3, so the Wildcats are done. And then now we'll have Calera Dale, Arapahoe Butler Vanos, Dibble Vanos to conclude day one action here at the Dibble Festival at Cashin High School. Only other change to mention, the final game at Okarchi today will now be Amber Pocasset versus Calumet. So Calumet late entry into the tournament, and they will be now playing, I think, just today. But if that changes, I'll do my best to let everybody know before we go off the air. According to both coaches, Cheyenne Graham from Amber Pocasset and Nick Price from Dibble, no more rain today, no more rain early tomorrow. Good chance they can play the games originally scheduled for Amber Pocasset and Dibble. If they get a lot of rain tonight and or some tomorrow before the games start, all bets are off, and you may have games right back here again at Cashin High School. Leadoff walk for the Bulldogs. They have the base runner on. So Dale swaps out games today. It's my understanding they may be doing that again tomorrow as well. And sticking with the 1:30 game tomorrow instead of the 6:30 walk-off game. On the mound is Turman for the Dale Pirates, and Craig up to bat for the Bulldogs. 4 errors doomed Colgate, a 3 RBI home run, the difference in the game, but a routine shot out to right field takes the wrong angle on the ball, ricochets off his glove, rolls past him. Calera scores the walk-off win with an E9, and run drops for an 11-3 victory. So far, 4 final scores, and the Christian Heritage Ripley game now in the 4th inning, 2-1 lead for the Crusaders over the Warriors. Multiple teams in play, opportunities for them to get in some much needed competition before the schools start heading into their portion of districts and then regionals and state playoffs. This year will be the inaugural season for A1 and 2, 2A 1 and 2, in addition to classes B, 3, 4, 5, and 6A. We do have a pretty good sampling of 2A1, some 2A2, and some A squads here in play. Dale still in 2A, even though I think a lot of people assume that 3A is not far off, just like Silo. They added 2A for the fall, so those teams will remain in a pod together in the fall at least. But right now, Silo in 3A, Dale in 2A1 for the larger ADM count schools. Christian Heritage threatening to add to their lead against Ripley. Bottom of the 4th inning, they've got runners first and second. Like to thank Texoma Fireplace Designs and the Lazy R Bermuda Ranch for sponsoring our feed today. Video highlights and our action for updates. And the swing and a miss. Beautiful spot out to left field, so the single puts 2 runners on for the Bulldogs. Varner, the big gun for the Bulldogs in their game prior, 3 RBI home run. Busted open a 3-1 game, instantly gave them a 6-1 lead, and they never looked back. Well, steps off, potential suicide squeeze. Caught in between a potential 4-6-5 tag out here. Pitcher makes the double up, and I believe they're going to get him on the path right in on the dive. So textbook formation. So the Bulldogs now with 2 down. Base runner remains at first. Induces a high pop-up, should be a fly out to the shortstop. Hooks over, snags it. Well, at the bottom of the 1st inning, it'll be the Pirates coming up to bat. You're watching the Dibble Festival here at Cashin High School on PNTV. Recap of the Ripley and Christian Heritage game. Crusaders advance the base runners to second and third. Ground out, unable to convert. We will head to the top of the fifth inning in that game. Score remains Christian Heritage 2, Ripley 1. Bottom of the first underway. Dale with the strike. Hooks it over to second base, waves everybody off, and the infield fly. Runner remains at first, one down for the Pirates. Still second and is going to take third as well. Nice aggressive path. So the leadoff runner, Forsythe, plays it perfectly. Harris pops up to second base. Forsythe takes advantage of opportunity to take second and third. And the Pirates, right off the bat here at the bottom of the first, have a runner in scoring position with only one out. Another pop up. This one's going to go to first base, frames it up, snags it, and two down. Edmondson unable to move the base runner. Rooker will try to drop in a RBI here. And flies out. So your score through one remains 0-0 Pirates and Bulldogs. We'll head at the top of the second inning. It'll be Calera coming back up to bat. You're watching PNTV. Just a reminder, we will be announcing our all-state selections in the next week or so. Player of the Year nominees will, in effect, drop from watch list to semifinalists. We will name 15 players for each classification. The only asterisk with that is A and B, or correction, A and 2A. We'll have 15 total, not 15 for A1, A2. And so it makes it more manageable to be able to track the players through the playoffs. Best in class, all state caliber opportunities. Anybody that is freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior can be considered. If you haven't gotten in your stats, you need to do so. You can send them to prepnationtv@gmail.com. We will need the player name, team, graduation class, and stats, or access to your game changer or iScore. If you're already on the list, all you have to do is go to our Prep Nation page on Facebook. There is a pinned post, and it has all the classes alphabetically listed for all the players that are on the watch list presently. We are adding some other schools that we haven't been able to cover this spring due to a heavy award cycle for mainly basketball and still doing softball awards. I believe we have 4 players from Cashin that are on the watch list: Kellen Smith, Brody Nichols, Kyle Yell, and Zach Sissian, if I pronounced his last name correct. 2 juniors, a sophomore, and a senior, so congratulations to them. For Calera, Logan Bumgardner and Zayden Craig are on the list. For Dale, I believe we've got 4 players. Jack Rooker is the top bill winner of our Young Gun Pitcher of the Year for the fall. And then Jed Higdon. And trying to remember, I know Mr. Harris is the third one, but I believe there's another player as well that I'm drawing a blank on off the top of my head. Jackson Harris from Dale, Jed Higdon, and Braylon White. I knew there was one other player, so congratulations to those players making the watch list for the 2025 spring season. Like I said, in the next week or so, without interrupting play and concentration for the playoffs, we'll be announcing our Player of the Year semifinalists, which are our top 15 all-state selections. And then we'll drop it down to the Super 6 finalists for the Player of the Year. Awards that will be available are Defensive Player of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, and Player of the Year. 2 outs and back up at the plate. Leave Gavin Chaffin up to bat for the Bulldogs. For Class 2A, we're still needing some verification for players from Howe, Ketchum, Meeker, Panama, Riverside, Vian, and Walters. So if anybody's listening or catches the feed later, please make sure to get stats in for those players. Otherwise, no stats, no nomination, no award. Well, Calera unable to do anything again in the top of the second. We'll head to the bottom with Dale coming up to bat once again. Have an update for you on the Ripley Christian Heritage game. It is now top of the fifth inning, 2-2. Ripley still at the plate. They've tied the ball game, plus on a wild pitch, advanced the base runner after the RBI from second to third. For the Pirates in the bottom of the second, it'll be White, Higdon, and Sharp at the plate. Ripley now has runners on the corners, first and third against Christian Heritage. The Crusaders have led throughout, took an early 1-0 lead, then went back up again 2-1 after a tie ball game. So Ripley ties the game again in the top of the sixth inning. An RBI single, or correction, RBI ground out on the fielder's choice throwout. So Ripley takes their first lead of the game 3-2. I think one of the coaches was actually listening to the feed because he just literally sent over players exactly with what I requested. So thank you. So people do listen to the feed. I always say if you don't like my voice, you can always just put it on mute, or you can get a playlist going and add some songs and jam out. Bottom of the second underway now. Battle of teams that have aspirations for state championships. This is a perfect matchup for the new 2A1 classification. Both teams in the larger count of the ADMs or enrollment numbers. That one just goes foul. Dale's pretty much been in first place all season long. However, they did have one oops game against Okarche earlier in the year. A team I think that overperformed maybe in the last few years and then just has not been able to quite make their consistency as prominent this season. Um, Definitely a team that has a legitimate shot to make it to state. Just had a tougher year than expected. Still a good season, 14-5, but they do have a a really good set of wins on their record. No shame in losing to Tuttle, Elk City, or Fort Cobb Broxton for that matter. They did drop a game against Calumet. However, teams in this tournament, especially good. They've beaten and defeated Dibble, Dale, Amber Pocasset, Cashin, and then Calumet in the rematch. So they are peaking at the right time. Dewar's another team that I think is a spring only program that'll be in the state playoffs. I think they'll be at least a semifinalist. Favorite. Everybody's chasing Wright City. So it'll be a fun tournament here the next 3-4 weeks as we roll out state champions for the first ever classification of A1 and 2, 2A1 and 2. Some classes it's a little bit easier to handicap. I think in 6A the favorites are Owasso and Edmond Memorial. 5A I think there's probably four teams: Bishop Kelly, Elgin, Duncan, and Collinsville would be probably who I would put money on. 4A it's looking like it's going to be Blanchard and Tuttle all over again, and he gets the single out to center field. 3A, who knows? Marlowe drops down from 4A, the defending state champion. Weatherford looking for Washington looking for a four-peat. Mount St. Mary drops down again. Silo looking to redeem themselves from a tough inaugural season last year. So I think a lot of those teams have legitimate shots. And who knows, 2A1 and 2A2. Dale probably the favorite for 2A1 right now, but cashing on their heels. Amber Pocasset, Canute, Canute is now an A1. Sorry about that. But some of those teams definitely looking to make a statement in the playoffs. Upstart Caddo program, Worcester 20-3 on the season as well. They've been playing especially well. So it'd be interesting to see how well Amber Pocasset does today and tomorrow. 2A2 looks like it's a two-dog race right now, Tuska and Ketchum, but there are some high-rated squads out there still. Runner remains at first, high and tight. It again checks him in. This is the closest yet to a potential pickoff. So good move by Chaffin. One of the rare players that size seemingly you would think he's at a disadvantage. However, if you followed his high school career, the junior is literally, I mean, he's getting closer and closer on snagging him. I mean, that one was really, really tight. But Chaffin can catch, he can pitch, he can play shortstop, second base, right field. Just one of those players to where he just does a little bit of everything. If his body grows up to his heart, he's going to be a huge player on the field. And that one was just lining him up and waiting for him to arrive. Beautiful throw into second base, and the toss out. Dale squanders any opportunity to score. We remain scoreless through two. We'll head to the top of the third inning. It'll be the Bulldogs coming up to bat. You're watching Prep Nation TV. Fires over, and that wasn't a fair fight. He had that one already read infield, probably 20 feet inside, almost close enough to grab the pitcher. So he reads that one perfectly, and it's an easy ground out. And beats it out. So Chaffin doing it on both the base path and on the mound and the bump. Bumgarner now with an opportunity to drive. We're going to have a courtesy runner again. Gavin has been subbing out a lot on the base path, had an injury earlier in the year, so they're limiting his opportunities for at bats and running specifically. But normally he would be a substitution on the base path for the base runner coming in. Flies out to center field and has to return back. Gets the walk, and the runner advances.